Luke here for SimBoxx. Delighted this evening to be joined by the babyface assassin, Paul Butler. Paul, how are we doing?
All good, mate. Yeah, just at pool, just having a few racks, so chilling out.
Good man. I bet after a big fight, you kind of appreciate these down moments where you can socialize a little bit and not worry about training and making weight or whatnot. I bet it's a bit of a relief.
It is, mate. It's nice just to get away from boxing for a little while and chill out and do things what I can't really do in camp. So it is nice. Yeah.
You give yourself like a time frame of when you can relax, or do you kind of train throughout the year even without a fight, or do you kind of not let yourself go, but you know what I mean? Do you give yourself a little period and then you kind of tick over in the gym where like what goes on after a fight?
Yeah. So I'm always ticking over. To be fair, I haven't been back in the gym since the Inoue fight, but I will get back in the gym even before a date. And then when I do get a date, it's pretty much like 10 weeks of full diet and no going out, no drinking, no eating crap. So I am pretty strict from 10 to 12 weeks out. It was 12 weeks with Inoue.
Do you think, Paul, that's something that you've developed as you've got older? That maybe as you get older, it's more difficult to lose the weight, and when you were younger, you might have been a bit more relaxed. Or have you always been that way inclined?
Yeah, I've always been that way. I always remember, like, for 4 rounders, I'd always give myself like 10 weeks. People would go, "You're mad, it's only a 4 rounder," and I'd be like, "It's the way I want to. It's the way I want to do it." Do you know what I mean? It was, but I think over the years, I think the weight has probably got a little bit easier for me because I've learned a little bit more as I've been getting older as well. When I was younger, I didn't really. I wouldn't eat from the Wednesday to the Friday because the weigh-in was on the Friday, and I just cut all my water out, and I'd be like, but now I don't stop. I don't stop eating until the night before the weigh-in, and I'll cut my water out, and then I'll take the weight off the night before the weigh-in. But yeah, it's crazy how much you do learn as you're getting older as well.
Absolutely. So you mentioned there the big fight with Naoya Inoue. Let's touch on that. That was back in December, so we're almost a couple of months removed from the fight. Unfortunately, it didn't go your way, Paul. It was a huge undisputed fight. It was a historic moment for yourself, for Inoue, for Japan, for Great Britain. You succumbed to an 11th round stoppage. Yeah, take us through the fight, Paul, in your eyes, how you thought it went and the way it finished, and how you was feeling during the fight. Because let's be honest, we spoke about it before then for SimBoxx, and 99% of people were saying that not it weren't like a slight on you. It was more because of
Yeah,
Inoue's style and the way he
well,
is.
yeah.
You might have gone down in a couple of rounds, but you went 11 rounds. Not many people do that with Inoue these days. So yeah, take us through it step by step in your words, Paul.
Yeah, I do think honestly everyone thought it'd be over within 3 rounds. Even the bookies thought it. They had me even money to get past 3 rounds. Everyone wrote me off. I told everyone that listen, that he won't stop me. He won't stop me early. There's no way it'd stop me early. I thought his power was. I don't know. I think the whole 12 weeks of me knowing I was fighting him and everyone's talking about his power, I think it sort of shocked me that he didn't buzz me as much as I thought he might have. Because every time he hit me clean on the chin, I was thinking that ain't too bad. That's all right, considering what he'd done to other people, the likes of Maloney, the likes of Donaire. Like, go through the list, and Manny Rodriguez, he's pretty much chinned them all to the head. And when he did hit me flush, and he hit me a number of times flush with that right hand straight through the middle, I was surprisingly shocked that it wasn't that bad. But obviously the body shot was, listen, you don't need to be hard in the body to go down. And I think it was a shot that I didn't see. He threw a right hook or a right hand to the head and then hit the left hook well. And it's a shot that I've caught many people with. And it's the shot that finally got me as well. But I do think the fight was, well, it was a tough fight, as you can see. And I do think after 4 rounds, I started letting my hands go a little bit, but then he upped it again. And sometimes it's hard to live with people that, listen, you've got to hold your hands up high and just say, listen, he's the better man. But it was a challenge I wanted to accept, and it's a challenge I went there in arms, and look, not many people get to challenge for the undisputed titles at any given weight, or be the first at bantamweight. So I'd have been daft not to take the challenge.
Yeah, absolutely, Paul. It was a great opportunity. Speaking there of Inoue, and you said that won't say not impressed by his power, but you maybe like people was emphasizing it. But on the flip side of that, is Inoue a better boxer than what he's maybe given credit for? That the power and the knockouts get the highlights and the headlines. But do you think he's a better boxer than what he's not given credit for, but that he's underrated boxer?
Yeah, I think a lot of people just bang on about his power more than his boxing IQ and his skill set altogether. I think he's got. I touched on it before the fight. I said he's got everything. He's got good feet. He's got good hands. He's fast. He's got good head movement. He hits hard, and I think he's got the all-round package. And I think he tried. He tried a few. He had to try a few little things with me in there because he knew I wouldn't really open up too much because I didn't want to be that person that was opening up too much and I was flat on my back. Do you know what I mean? Because I knew he had. Do you know what with him? The power I think comes from his timing and the speed more so than the actual oomph it landing on you and thinking, boom, I'm out. I think everything else is timing and speed with him because his speed's very good and his timing was good. And I think I had a good eye to see them shots coming, and I think that's probably why it didn't affect me as much as it did with everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely, Paul. So heading into the fight, you've sold the dream there with his footwork, his boxing ability, his IQ, his timing, his speed, his power. What was the game plan? Obviously, you couldn't go too much into the build up. You're never going to sell that in the build up to the fight. But what was the game plan? What would what was you trying to implement in there when you're in there with a modern great? If we're being truthful,
it was obviously have a little look at him for the first 3-4 rounds, then start letting my hands go, which I thought I did start doing. The plan was obviously to push him back as well and let him gain our respect, but at times I couldn't do that because he was literally that good, and I think he started doing little things which made me not allow me to push him back. He was putting his hands behind his back at times, and although it didn't look like on the TV, that's frustrating to me because I'm thinking I can't even jab now because he's just going to put the right hand over the top. He's just going to sit back and boom. I know what he's trying to do. Like I train the kids myself, and I know what he's trying to do. Like he knows he's a level or two above me. Do you know what I mean? So he's trying to set traps, and I just didn't want to fall into them traps for him. And it took about I knew he was coming out on the 11th to stop me because I could see Davis corner giving him a bollocking. And Joe and Maka said to me, Paul, he's coming now. He's coming. And I looked over and he was rubbing his feet across the floor like a little bull. And I thought, oh, there we go. And he came out and he was steaming at me. And I half-rode the storm. And then he went again. And yeah, it was the right hook around the top of the head that probably brought the hands up a little bit. And I probably thought he was going left up to the head. And he's just took one right round the elbow. Good shot, to be fair. Yeah, they're not nice stand body shots.
Well, no, of course, this fight landed on Tuesday the 13th of December, if I remember correctly, which obviously to us British boxing fans and the majority of boxing fans is a bit of a bizarre date and time and day. What was the whole experience like out in Tokyo, the build up to the fight, the weigh-in and whatnot, and fighting on such a peculiar time and date? Take us through the experiences and how you found it out in Tokyo.
Yeah, me and Joe and the team, we had to change our whole plans because obviously we have a rest day on a Wednesday normally in the build up to a Saturday fight. So our whole week sort of changed a little bit. The food obviously changed because the only thing I could eat out there was chicken and rice. The people who were looking after us were saying, stay away from the sushi, stay away from the fish. Not good for you out here. So I literally was on chicken and rice. My whole food plan I didn't really get any decent food apart from chicken and rice. Their rice is completely different to ours as well. It's dead sticky and all stuck together. And so that all changed. The whole week changed. We were getting certain times in the gym. We were only getting given certain times in the gym. And then like little things like, and it probably sounds like nothing, but in our own gym, in our hotel, I'd go on a running machine and I was getting pestered to death to put a mask on. I'm doing a 40-minute run. I don't want a mask on. No one else has to wear a mask. If Inoue was in there, he wouldn't have to wear a mask. Making me wear a mask as I'm doing a run. And I was like, oh, this is just uncomfortable. But the whole Tokyo experience was, It was decent. I took a lot of fans over there. They all enjoyed it a little bit more than me because they could go out and do what they wanted. And I was obviously in a WhatsApp group with them, and it was nice to see them enjoying themselves overnight. And it was a good laugh. I didn't really get to see much of Tokyo because I was just training, eating, going back to bed, just trying to get me rest really. So I didn't really get to see much, but the whole experience of the fight week was something else compared to over here. Like it's huge. You know what I mean? I think he filled a whole like sports hall for the after press conference. It was, yeah. Even Joe nudged me and he went, "This is like Anthony Joshua. This is huge. Like he's that big of a star. Do you know what I mean? Over there, he's massive."
You know, it's funny you should say that there, Paul, 'cause that was going to lead into my next question there, that you mentioned that you was told to wear a mask and that if Inoue was there, they call him the superstar in Japan. How is it in the shoes of yourself being the opponent of their megastar? Because obviously normally over in the UK, we're welcoming people over to fight Joshua and welcoming people over to fight Tyson Fury and things like that. We have the superstars here, if you like. So what was it like being the opponent for the superstar? Like how was you? Joe Public over there, I guess.
Yeah, mate, they were amazing. Turned up to the airport. I was knackered because it took us like nearly 2 days to get there. With flights being a nightmare, missing flights. Oh yeah. I was meant to be in business class. I ended up in economy. Not that I'm trying to be a snob or anything, but it was just a proper uncomfortable flight. It was horrible. Got there. All the press were there as soon as I walked out into the airport, which was nice. I got to the hotel. They had loads of fans there. Can you sign this? Can you sign that? It's nice to see. Do you know what I mean? Everywhere I went, offering me free haircuts. Do you know what I mean? Billboards all over the city. All my mates were over there. They were made up that every train station had big banners of me and Inoue up. So it was nice. It was nice to see.
Did that carry on?
Very respectful. Like probably one of the most respectful places I've ever been. Like.
Really? But did that carry on after the fight? Did they carry that same respect, or was it kind of like disregarding how the fights happened? You know, from their point of view, their man's won, you've lost. Did they disregard, or did the respect carry on for your entire stay?
To be fair, right, it changed completely as soon as I got to the arena. As soon as I got to the arena on fight day, up until I was putting my gloves on and stuff, you know, like the little tag on the end of your gloves and your end of your shorts and what you tie on your laces. They were making me cut them off. No. I had to put Vaseline on my wraps to get into the gloves because the gloves were that small and my wraps were that big. So they went mad at that. And they weren't giving us no time to warm up. During the warm up, they were making us stop our warm up. What about this? Let's check your gloves. Joe was like, wow. They were going, you've got 5 minutes. And Joe was like, we haven't got 5 minutes. He said, we'll go out when we're ready because you haven't given us no time to warm up. At this point, I haven't even got my gloves on. They're picking up on everything. Sending people to go and get people to come back to make sure it is Vaseline that's on my gloves. After it, as you can probably be aware, I had a booming headache after the fight. And I needed to do a drug test. Now, listen, I've been in this position loads of times before. I know I need to go to the toilet. So I'm sitting there and I'm drinking 5 bottles of water. Boom, boom. Within 20 minutes, because they're pushing me that much. Go to the toilet. And I was like, I know what I've got to do. I will go to the toilet when I need the toilet. Just done 11 rounds. Dehydrated. Let me get some fluid in me. I'll go when I'm ready. Then I'm starting to feel sick because I drank the water that quick. Goes to the toilet, couldn't go to the toilet. I come back, I said, you're rushing me too much. I said, give me time. No, go to the toilet now, go to the toilet. I was like, wow. I said, leave me alone, let me have some drinks. I went about an hour later, I went to the toilet. But I needed painkillers for my head was banging, I felt sick, I had to lie down on the floor. They were all standing around me. Go to hospital. I said, no, just leave me alone. I said, I've got a headache. I said, just give me 5 minutes. And then I was saying, can I take these tablets? Like, no, you need a drug test. They wouldn't even let me take some like paracetamol or anything like that. Eventually I got the drug test done and that was it. They've gone. They just left me alone then. It was just me and my team again. But yeah, I think as soon as I landed into the arena, everything sort of changed a little bit. They tried to make everything difficult for us.
Yeah, of course, Paul. So, moving on from that fight, moving to a new year, inevitably you're going to start looking forward. You're not going to look back. But been a pro now 13 years, 37 pro fights. Not to make you feel low, Paul. My apologies.
Yeah.
But where's the mind of Paul Butler at the minute? We've seen Inoue has vacated the belts. He's moving up in weight, which is going to be a fascinating fight with Inoue and Steve Fulton. So get your opinion on that in a second. But is it in Paul Butler to become a 3-time world champion? Is it still ranked with the WBO? So there's going to be opportunities there with vacant belts. Is there desire there to go back into the mix, Paul?
Yeah, I think it was a week after everyone had got back in the gym. Pictures started getting posted on Instagram. Tasha's belt had just arrived in the gym, and I seen all the pictures getting posted, and I was like, I just turned around to my missus and I said, I need to get back in the gym. Missed the gym already. It's my life, isn't it? And I think I'm far from finished. You know what I mean? I do think there's a lot left in the tank. I've just stepped in there with, albeit one of the greatest bantamweights probably to ever step in the ring. So I do think there's a lot left, and I think everyone else in the division, I think, is a good fight for me. I think there is some good fights out there. I think, and I did text Joe. Must have been about 2 days ago. He texted me saying, "What's your plans?" And I texted him back saying, "I go to Thailand on Tuesday on holiday. I'll be back in after that." He said, "All right, sound. I'll start looking for a date for you." So yeah, I'll be back. I can't keep away, mate. I can't keep away.
Is it world title ambitions? Is it big fights? Could you see yourself getting in there with domestic fighters, like grudge matches? Would you move up in weight if the opportunity arose? Like what we thinking in 2023?
I'm too small for super bantam, so that's a no-go. 2023 is all eyes on being 3 times world champion. I think if I fall short of that, then I'll knock it on the head. I don't want to be that gatekeeper at British title level, or that ain't me. Do you know what I mean? And I don't like seeing other kids do that. Do you know what I mean? Like kids that have won world titles or challenged for world titles, very good fighters. I don't like seeing them be a gatekeeper. Just boxing even there for 8 grand, 10 grand because they're getting used by a certain promoter. Do you know what I mean? That ain't me, and that's never going to happen to me. I don't need to box anymore, but it's in my blood, and I love it. So that's why I'll be continuing. I want to be a 3-time world champion.
Good man. It's good to hear. Just a quick thought on that fight, Paul, of Naoya Inoue as he moves up to take on Stephen Fulton. It's probably one of the best matchups that can be made in boxing. And as you'll know, sometimes the smaller guys get overlooked, but they're producing the goods over the past few years with some great fights. And Inoue and Fulton will be right up there. What's your thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, I think it's a great fight. I think I've only seen little snippets of Fulton, but he's slick, he's big, he's bigger than Inoue. Even when I stepped in the ring with Inoue, the only thing that was big on Inoue was his legs, and I thought, wow, his calves are massive. But other than that, he's not a big guy. Do you know what I mean? When I stood head to head with him at the weigh-in and the press conferences, I thought, you're only little. How are you knocking people out like that? Because you're only tiny. But no, I think his class will tell. I think it'll be a cracking fight. I think Fulton will probably take a bit away from my fight, a bit of movement, a bit of slickness. I think he's probably seen that he does get frustrated. I do think I frustrated him on the night. I think the movement frustrated, just because he weren't getting his own way, and he hadn't knocked me out within 3 rounds. You know what I mean? 4, 5, 6, 7 rounds. I do think he got a little bit frustrated, and I think the frustration showed on the night with him calling me in, with him putting his hands behind the back, turning southpaw. He was always trying to get something out of me, and I think Fulton might take something away from that. And again, he's a bigger guy. He's a world champion himself, and he's a class operator. So I think that's a great matchup, especially for the lighter weights. And I think all eyes will be on that.
Absolutely, Paul. So I don't want to keep you for too much longer. I appreciate your time as always, mate. So we'll just breeze through a couple of things, get you a couple of thoughts on recent boxing news. So obviously, a previous stablemate of yours, Liam Smith, with a spectacular 4-round demolition of Chris, if you like. Paul, what are your thoughts on that fight? Obviously, you know Liam Smith as well, but also on this situation regarding an elbow was used to set up the stoppage. So, Paul, take us through in your words your reaction to the result, and then to that argument of the elbow.
Mate, I was there. I was up in the sticks with all the boys and the girls. We all went, and wow, what a night! The place was absolutely electric. Before I go into the fight, that's probably one of the best atmospheres I've been to. I've been to like Linares, Crawler, that was good, but Beefy and Eubank was special. It was some atmosphere in there that night, and then when he stopped him, very good stoppage. I don't think anyone expected it. I fancied Liam on points. I thought Liam's engine, I thought his shot quality was a little bit too good for Eubanks. I think his boxing IQ is too good for Eubank. So I did think he'd take it on points. But yeah, when he done him and he stopped him, what a performance. And the elbow, you're in a fight, mate. Do you know what I mean? Heads bang together, elbows coming. It happens, you know what I mean? And to be fair, I do think he catches. I do think he catches this part on the left hook, and I think that maybe turns the elbow over. But Liam's just got good rotation in the left hook, so the whole rotation of it coming round, if it does catch him, he's already gone with the shots before that anyway. He was scrambled, he was gone. Looked like he just rolled out of a boozer at 12 at night. Do you know what I mean? He was gone. He was history. The fight was over anyway. And Beefy's a good finisher, so Beefy done what he done anyway. He finished him, and I think it was a very, very good stoppage.
Yeah, it was a great result. Paul, do you think the immediate rematch happens? Do you think Eubank wants to take it back? And if so, lands at Anfield? Because we see you on the card, Tasha Jonas on the card. You know, it's got a bit of a ring to it there.
Yeah.
Do you think, first and foremost, Chris Eubank Jr. goes in there for the immediate rematch? And do you think he sticks with Roy Jones Jr. as a trainer? Because he can better stick as well.
Yeah, I think he goes straight for the rematch because his ego will take control. I think he'll definitely jump at the rematch, and I think the only reason why he's throwing the elbow shout in there is so there's a bit of pull on the rematch instead of people just saying, "Hang on, you got smashed in 4 rounds, kid." It's not even but the elbow. That's what he'll pull on, and he'll pull on that to the public. Like, yeah, but it was the elbow that stopped me. It was a foul shot. He's a dirty fighter, like he was saying in the build-up to this one. He's a dirty fighter. He's not. He's the better fighter. You know what I mean? And I think I do think it'll happen. I do think it'll happen at Anfield. And wow, if I was to get on that bill, then I'd be absolutely buzzing. But I'm sure BT's phone's going absolutely mad at now. Yeah, use my cue. Any one of them's free in there. Yeah, I do think. I think it'll happen at Anfield, and I think, like I say, I think Beefy's phone's probably read off everyone saying, "Can I get on that bill? Can I get on that bill?" But yeah, if they had the opportunity, I'd listen. If I was to box on that bill for another world title, I think it'd be a great night.
Absolutely. Well, we could sit here and chew the fat as we always do on these interviews all night. But I know you've spared some of your time there. You're away playing pool. I hope you play pool as good as you box. Take some money off these guys. But yeah, thank you for your time. And we'll catch up in the near future when we get some fight news in the pipeline.
Definitely. All right, top man.
Yeah.